So I figured that I have everything to gain if I have anything to gain at all, and at least nothing to lose by talking about this. So I was recording an earlier video, but then I figured, well, I might as well restart recording the video and keep the video with Riley trying to show that she cares for me and all that, and wanting me to give her attention as well. And if you see me moving the camera back and forth, it's because I'm trying to hold on to the camera with my hands and what have you. And it's hard with cerebral palsy, but it's not like I can't do what I can do. And to make a long story short, here it goes. And like I said, I certainly have nothing to lose by talking about this. And perhaps not everything to gain. Perhaps someone else will gain from it. But, here it goes. So, in October of 2022, and the reason I remember this is, if nothing else, I always remembered it was around Columbus Day. And it was around the day that Kanye West had threatened the pogroms, because it made my week infinitely harder. So I was going to get a driver's evaluation up in rehabilitation in Frederick, Maryland. And I was already having a rough week. Well, unfortunately, so I already have the rough week, and then the driving instructor, Tim Jones, starts talking about his sex life. He makes the one comment, he says, I talk to my kids about everything, including sex. And then he also mentioned details about his wedding night and that, and he and his wife were both virgins on their wedding night. Well, mazel tov to them, but I didn't need to know that about their sex life. Only later did I realize that, hey, that's not appropriate for a driving instructor to say to a student, and it's not just two adults in a conversation. It was a driving instructor telling a student that, which is not okay. I didn't realize that he could have been potentially trying to make advances. Why the hell would he bring up his sex life anyway? So then I had the rough week already because I'd seen a pogrom thread online, and then that Friday, Tim Jones tells me, if you can't steer, you can't drive. So then he lies to the DMV and MVA and says that I have neurospatial issues. So only later did I realize that he may have been lying to the DMV and MVA precisely because I refused advances, which I didn't realize at the time. Again, why is a driving instructor bringing up comments about his sex life? And then so I go through the process of all that. I'm able to prove that I don't have neurospatial issues. And then so I'm able to try to get a driving evaluation in Chantilly, Virginia. Not only does the second driving instructor, Tammy Phipps, lie, she also claims that I have ataxia. January 16th, 2026. And then she also submitted the documents late to the DMV, by the way. And part of the reason I remember that too is because my learner's permit was unlawfully suspended again on Riley's birthday of 2025, I believe. What I remember is that the second driving evaluation was done during the year of the Super Bowl, in which Taylor Swift's boyfriend was playing. That's all that I really remember for the most part. But so we go to Tammy Phipps lying. So, kind of for lack of a better term, piggybacking on Tim Jones's lie, and then also saying that I have ataxia. So then, January 16th, 2026, that's when the bully, Sarah Irvine, says that I'm pathetic and I have a terrible view of God. So then that adds to that. What around the same time that I get the threat from her, and I've talked about this previously, and like I said, people in leadership do not deserve protection or privacy when they're bullying regular congregants. And then, of course, the DMV and other agencies don't deserve that protection either. So then, to make a long story short, so then I get a hostile letter from, and then I also obviously get a lack of familial support. So then I get a hostile letter from the Attorney General office saying no, that they won't give me a waiver to pay court cost. So this is the very real effect that discrimination against people with disabilities and misuse of the law and bullying in religious congregations has on people with disabilities. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one, but my case is only one example. By the way, if someone does want to help me with my case after all these years, that'd be really appreciated.